Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Carrie Oderman with UATV. The U.S. has spent 2 years chipping away at the World Trade Organization, criticizing it as unfair as Donald Trump seeks to upend the global trade system. Is Trump about to bring down the WTO? And what consequences might this have? To discuss this, we welcome to our studio today Dmytro Yefremov, Chief Analyst of the Center for International Studies, Diplomatic Academy of Ukraine at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for joining us today.
Good evening. My pleasure.
The WTO is another set of letters that we talk about in politics. What is it?
It is a very important place to coordinate rules in trade between different countries. And that is why it is important to keep it working, because of it we can find some strict and confident rules and judgments when there are some disputes between countries in trade.
Now, when countries agree to rules, they agree to follow these rules. And for the past 2 years, Washington has been blocking the World Trade Association from appointing new members to a panel that listens to the disputes, which is basically making them unable to work. Why is President Trump doing this?
Well, the point of view of American elite towards WTO has evaluated strongly, even maybe earlier than Donald Trump came to the presidency. But as for Donald Trump, it is important to mention that there are three main questions from the United States towards WTO as it exists in current situation. So the first one is about the influential position of government companies and state-owned enterprises that are expanding all over the world, and the main source of their expansion is China. So China has a lot of these national champions which are guided by the state, and that is how they occupy a lot of markets and substitute American companies from them. That is why Americans are not satisfied with this situation, and they are looking for a way to rebuild this situation. The second issue is about appellate body, and it is a technical question because using it, Americans tried to block the working the possibilities of WTO to work currently. So there is disputes, so countries trade with each other, and sometimes they have disputes. And to resolve these disputes, there are groups of independent countries which judge the situation and make their conclusion. And after that, if some country is not satisfied, it has the right to appellate towards this appellate body. But if there is no appellate body, the judgment of the countries cannot become the rule or cannot become the law. That is why in such situation, this legislation does not work, and the solutions and decisions of appellate body cannot become the law, and countries cannot change their behavior and become more appropriate according to current situation.
And just to clarify, this is usually a 7-member body that's down to 3 members, and 2 of the members will then be resigning this December?
Yeah, not December, tomorrow, at the 10th of December, for sure, yeah.
So once they leave tomorrow, there'll only be one appellate judge left who can't rule then at all?
Yeah, there will be just no quorum to pass these cases and to look through them and to make judgments.
And how is the United States exactly blocking this?
They do not provide their judge, they have their quota, but they do not use it. And at the same time, they do not let other countries to vote for their representatives to this appellate body. So little by little, this amount of judges goes down from 7 to 4 to 3, and tomorrow it would be just 1.
So this doesn't sound like something that just Donald Trump has been doing. Has this a longer history with U.S. Approach towards the WTO?
Yeah, we can compare current administration position towards WTO with previous one, when Obama was the president of the United States. And Obama's approach was a little bit different. Currently, Donald Trump is trying to block the total work of WTO. And Obama's administration tried to rebuild and reform this organization by intervening another one, parallel organization. And it could be based on the TPP agreement, Trans-Pacific Partnership. And as we remember, Donald Trump has blocked it maybe in the first days after his inauguration. So that is why currently Obama's approach was a bit different, and it was oriented towards consensus finding between other countries, because other countries are also hit by this situation, especially a developed one. By the way, there is a third question that is very harmful and is very disputable about the members of WTO. It is called the special and differential treatment towards those countries who are underdeveloped, but they need to be provided some possibilities to develop and to become more convenient according to current situation. And there are a lot of quarrels, and even China tries to keep its position as a leading developing country in the world. And this status of developing country provides some preferences to its owners, and countries can themselves proclaim themselves as a undeveloped or developing one. And that is why Trump is blocking it, because he says it is unfair and WTO is broken, and now this status of special and differential treatment must be reviewed, and some new rules must be introduced in this approach. So China must be kicked out from this status, but China has a lot of supporters among developing countries such as India, Brazil, South African Republic.
China invests quite a bit in these developing countries.
Yeah, they're asking for keeping this. By the way, Ukraine is also interested in such status, because currently we are considered as developing one country.
So what is it, though? Is the WTO changed, or is the United States' view towards the WTO changed? In 1948, when it was funded, they were willing signatories. What's changing?
Currently, we can say that the approach has totally changed. So, as far as I understand, we can expect that if a WTO would collapse or it would become unworking, the United States would substitute its trade relations, they would substitute WTO by bilateral agreements with other countries. And currently they are working in this direction. They have trade talks with Japan, with European Union, with Korean Republic, and as we all know, with China. So this is new approach. America is trying to avoid this situation and to find and to fix its higher position in these trade talks and trade disputes.
So they've got a double strategy, weakening the WTO and then starting with bilateral talks with other nations. Is the WTO becoming outdated? Is Trump going to break it?
Well, it's hard to say, because there are other influential players. For example, the European Union. They have their own view on this situation, and they try to...
And the European Union is as one in the WTO, or are the individual nations represented?
Individuals are represented, but also they are represented as a single institution. And they have their own approach, and they vote for deep reforms of the organization. And currently we can see that their position is more influential and more attractive towards other countries. In some cases, China supports European Union. For example, about the increase of the role of the WTO in international trade relations regulations. Also, it supports the reform of appellate body to expand the number of judges from 7 to 9, to prolong their duties and to make the operations more quicker. And the United States is trying to block this by not supporting the new budget of WTO for the year of 2020. They agreed to vote for it, but they asked to reduce the expenses that would be provided directly to the appellate body.
It's all the time we have, and it's a hard job for people to predict the future. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
That was Dmytro Yefremov, Chief Analyst of the Center for International Studies, Diplomatic Academy of Ukraine at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for watching UATV, and stay tuned for more.